Alright guys, welcome to another beer review, and today we're going over to the wonderful city of Manchester, a place where I'm now finally able to go on a regular basis, even though it's only, about an hour and a half's all in all travel away from where I am. I've always loved Manchester. I've just got such an affinity for the place. It feels like, in a way, it feels like home for me. It's a place that I can feel comfortable. I could be on my own. I could be with a big group of people, and yeah, there's something about Manchester, especially at night time. I don't know what it is. This thing about cities at night is just something that I love anyway. Plus, the cultural heritage of Manchester, the music scene, the art scene, how it's evolved, and it's a real melting pot of culture, I'd say. And what I love most is the mixture of old and new. And of course, it's got probably one of the best beer scenes available in the UK. You've got the traditional, like Robinson's and J.W. Lee's. You've got so many great little pubs as well. And then, of course, you've got the craft beer scene and all the railway arches, and then the nice little bars, and of course, Northern Monk are having a refectory in there. And yeah, it's just, you're never far away from a good pint in Manchester. And of course, showing my love for a brewery that I've got a hell of a lot of respect for. I've got a growler, which I've only ever used once, so I think it's my duty to fill this next time I go. And yeah, even though I recently bought a Brewdog then. Even though I recently bought a Cloudwater glass, Cloudwater shirt, Cloudwater pins, stickers, yeah, I love that sort of stuff. It's smashed again. So that's two glasses from Cloudwater that I've had that didn't last too long, but this time it wasn't my fault. And yeah, so instead of a Cloudwater glass, I thought I'd go for a beer moth glass, and a great bottle shop in Manchester in the Northern Quarter. I'm sure most of you guys watching this will already know of the Manchester craft beer scene, and yeah, it's just every time I'm there, I have such a great time. And of course, the most notable in recent memory was, of course, the Manchester Piss Up with Paul from Brew News, Craig from Kent Beer Reviews, Stuart from Real Ginger Ale Trail, Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews, James from Rampant Lion Reviews, Rob from Hop Scene. Yeah, did I say Craig from Kent Beer Reviews? I probably already did. Yeah, just such a great time, and to share that experience in a place like Manchester was, it meant a hell of a lot to me. And I think you can become really guilty of overly romanticising that sort of stuff, but I don't care. Do you know what I mean? It means a hell of a lot to me, and I'd love to be based in Manchester. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what my goal is, to get a semi-decent job so I can get a nice little apartment in Manchester and work within the city, because after living in a city in Germany for almost 4 years, to come back to the quaint village or town that you grew up in, you do really miss the busyness of city life. And I think Manchester is probably it's my happy place, aside from like the Lake District here in the UK. So this is a toast to the wonderful people of Manchester, as much as it is to each of you guys, and of course the beautiful folks who I got the pleasure to spend time with when I was in Manchester in, was it late March? I can't remember, it was a long time ago now, it really, really was. But anyway, almost 5 minutes in, we haven't even opened the beer yet. We are looking at the Heller's Tettnanger, and there's a hair on my can. And yeah, picked this up from Northern Beer Temple. Great shop in Wigan, which is a great place to go to when you're on your way to Manchester or you're coming back from Manchester. And then, of course, you've got Wigan Central. So, yeah, I've got good beer when I go to Manchester. I've got great beer. Well, I've got great beer even before I go. Great beer when I get to Manchester. And then On the way back, before I come back to here, I've got another chance to have great beer, so I'm very blessed in that regard. But yeah, so this is the Helles Tettnanger. I had the Helles Mandarina, which was just absolutely phenomenal. In terms of the style, they absolutely nailed it. And from what I can gather, I think Paul, one of his favourite breweries is Tettnanger, and one of his favourite beers is the Tettnanger Pils. So it's good to know that in this world of craft beer, there are people who are making this beer who can appreciate those styles. And I'm not saying that craft brewers aren't like that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, you always get this impression that it's always about something new, intriguing, following trend, which of course Cloudwater did. In fact, I think they almost kick-started it in some way with all the hazy sort of double dry hopped IPAs, the influence from America. But yeah, I get really intrigued with some of the seasonal beers as well, because the IPAs and pale ales have almost become like a core range in some ways. So yeah, when I see that they've got another lager available, I'm going to jump all over it because it's probably, you know, one of my favourite styles, and I love it when breweries outside of Germany nail the style perfectly and don't do anything to it to bastardize it or take it into a stupid direction where it becomes, oh, this is like a weak pale ale. How many times have I used that argument in these videos? But yeah, I'd love to see Cloudwater do a Doppelbock. That would be absolutely fantastic. So if anybody from Cloudwater is watching this, which I highly doubt, do a Doppelbock, because I know for a fact that you guys will be able to do it. Or maybe some Rauch beers. I'd love to see like a good attempt at the Rauch beer Märzen from Schlenkerla. I'd love to see any brewery do these sorts of styles, to be honest. But anyway, fantastic artwork on this label. It reminds me of ripped coloured paper. And artwork comes courtesy of Louise Sheeran. So if there are any links, I will put them down below because I do love to promote the artists. So this Helles feels Barker Pils malt for a smooth and traditional flavour. We used a light bittering and aroma addition of Tettnanger and fermented with WLP 833 for a delicate flavour profile. And yeah, so of course the yeast is WLP 833. Aroma hops are Tettnanger, as are the bittering hops, and then the malts are Barker Pils, Caramel Hell, Vienna, and Caramel Pils. 4.8% ABV in a 440ml can. Beautifully presented, as is always the case with Cloudwater. So let's get this opened and see what we get. I actually need to get a proper, like a German lager glass, because guess what? When the Cloudwater glass was broken by someone, my Augustina glass was broken as well. So yeah, two of my favourite glasses just gone in a flick of a wrist, which I think is what actually ironically destroyed them. But yeah, beer in a glass then, and it's what you expect. It's crystal clear, lovely carbonation flowing right to the top of that glass, lovely and golden, and then of course about 2 fingers worth of a lovely compact frothy head. It's as Helles lager as you can get on the appearance, and it just looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? Straw-like. You get like really nice biscuity malt sort of characters in the appearance, and the head in this light anyway seems to have a very slight tinge to it. Looks obviously white as hell on the camera, and it probably actually is. It's probably just the slight artificial light going on in this room. Not the most ideal lighting setup, I will admit, but anyway, let's see what we get on the nose. Bready, biscuity. It's got that sort of like white crusty bread with a bit of flour on top. Grassy. It's so authentic smelling. It's like you've opened like a somewhat fresh bottle of like a Helles beer. Well, obviously, because it is a Helles beer. But it's like you've just opened a fresh one like at the brewery or something, or like a Augustina straight from the vessels in the restaurant. Do you know what I mean? It's got that a real sense of freshness to it. What is the date? So I'll have a look a little bit later so I don't spill beer everywhere. But yeah, it's got that like powdery, grainy sort of aroma. A little bit of a white pepper, slightly herbal. not too sweet, not too leafy. It's got that sort of like wet grass character. It smells lovely. Let's give it a taste. Prost. They've done it again. They really nailed it with this beer. I think I've got more excited by this beer than like something like new. Oh, what's it called? The one that they did with Track recently, which I reviewed, which is a beautiful beer, beautiful double IPA. No, was it double IPA? I can't remember. Oh, Tides and Beginnings or something like that. I can't remember. It was absolutely beautiful. One of the best beers of that style from this year for me. And I get more excited about stuff like this. Do you know what I mean? Because after living in Germany, being surrounded even by the supermarkets where you get like world-class Helles beers for like less than €1, and like just engulfing those beers. Overly romanticising it, as I knew I would. It's got a story there to it as well that I can attach to the beer. If I close my eyes, it feels like I'm sat, you know, in like the Spital, God, carbonation, beer garden in Regensburg. Do you know what I mean? It takes me back to that sort of place. It's simple. It's got a nice bit of spice to it. It's crisp and smooth at the same time. It's got a bit of bulk to it in terms of the body. Lovely balance of sweet and savoury as well. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit grainier and spicier than the Mandarina, but of course you get those subtle fruity tones from the Mandarina hop as opposed to the Tettnanger. But yeah, this is fantastic. This is like a traditional, wonderfully brewed lager. Well, I'll say it like it is. It really, really is. Just look at that. Looks fantastic even in a snifter. I know most people would put the nose up at someone pouring a beer like this into a glass like this, but yeah, people do what they want to. You enjoy beer the way you want to do it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, let's have another taste. Yeah, those Pilsner malts really shine in this one. Yeah, it's simple, it's well executed. It's probably not going to make its way into too many people's, best beer of the year award. Although to me, it's executed absolutely brilliantly. I wouldn't change it. It's not as I'm not enjoying it as much as I did the Mandarina that Cloudwater did, because that was just beautiful. It really, really was. This is still, world class. And do you know what? It does what it sets out to do. It's simple, well executed, no flaws. It's a 10 out of 10. It's just one of those beers. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Do you know what I mean? It's in every way, it's bang on. And those guys know how to brew a good lager. I think craft breweries, although you're seeing a lot more now, I mean, Lost and Grounded are very focused on these sorts of styles, and you always see like a craft lager. Lager doesn't have to be a dirty word. And yeah, I'm just drinking these beers from the likes of Cloudwater, and I'm like, why is no one doing any Doppelbox? Or just make like an Oktoberfest beer. I'd love to see Cloudwater do an Oktoberfest beer. I mean, the only thing that would work against a beer like this that I completely understand is the pricing. I paid £4.15 for this beer. To me, it's worth every penny. But at the same time, I know in most bottle shops, I can get an authentic Helles beer from Germany, like Augustiner, Tettnanger, Paulaner, Hack of Shore, you name it, some obscure brewery in small village neighbouring Freising. Do you know what I mean? You could get those beers for about £2 to £3. So you are probably going to opt for those. But if you were to put them head to head, you would think that both beers were from Germany. So I'm not going to deduct any points or anything like that because of the price, because I'm happy with it. I'm glad that I paid that. And yeah, I could just see that some people might be a tiny bit put off, like, going, what, I'm not paying that for a lager. Do you know, because there is still that sort of mentality, but it's just good to see a brewery respecting the art form. And yeah, 10 out of 10. So if you've tried this one or any of the other lagers from Cloudwater, then give me your thoughts, opinions down below. Where does this stand in the ones that you've tried? What are some of your favourite craft lagers? What are some of your favourite Helles beers? Doesn't necessarily have to be British or German. Just hit me in the comments with suggestions down below. Check out Cloudwater. Check out Louise Sheeran. Check out Northern Beer Temple. And yeah, if you want to see more examples of this beautiful style of beer, then I'll put the playlist down below as well. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this beer review, and thank you for sticking with me for another somewhat story time-esque style review. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Prost und auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.